Hello everyone, my name's Adam. And in this problem, we're going to be practicing simplifying trigonometric expressions using fundamental trig identities. So we're going to start with a trigonometric expression, sine phi times the quantity cosecant phi minus sine phi. Now when we're simplifying this, there's going to be a little bit of algebra involved also. Now there's two ways to start here. We can start trying to simplify the expression inside the parentheses, cosecant phi minus sine phi, and then multiply that with sine phi. Or we can multiply through sine phi inside the parentheses. That's how we're going to start today. So I'm going to distribute my sine phi to the inside, and that's going to give us sine phi times cosecant phi minus sine squared phi. So we've multiplied this through, and now we want to apply our fundamental trig identities to try and simplify this. Now a good rule of thumb is to try to just do one piece at a time. Now we have sine phi times cosecant phi, which we know as those as being reciprocals of each other. And we have sine squared phi, and we know we have an identity, namely a Pythagorean identity, dealing with that. But like we said, we're going to take one piece at a time, and we'll start with our simpler of the two, sine phi times cosecant phi. So what we have, cosecant phi is equal to 1 over sine phi. So using that and substituting in for cosecant phi, we have sine phi times 1 over sine phi minus sine squared phi. And of course we can see that our sines are going to cancel with one another, and that's going to leave us with 1 minus sine squared phi. And now we'll see where we can go from here. Now, 1 minus sine squared phi, or even 1 minus cosine squared phi, the more you do these problems, you see is an expression that you'll find a lot. And what's going to help us with that is our Pythagorean identity. Namely, the Pythagorean identity sine squared phi plus cosine squared phi equals 1. Now we have 1 minus sine squared phi. So taking a look at what we have here, we can see if I subtract sine squared from both sides, that's going to leave me with cosine squared phi equal to 1 minus sine squared phi. And we'll use that substitution, 1 minus sine squared phi is equal to cosine squared phi. Now, with what we have, we're about as simplified as we can be. So we've taken a trigonometric expression, simplifying it with algebra and trig identities, and gotten cosine squared phi. Thank you very much.